Our last speaker before lunch break is Mr. Florian Brandi-Dohrn, and he represents an international solution provider in GIS, VertiGIS. Please, Florian.
Yes. Welcome everybody to my presentation. So I have the honor here to present you our spatial management solutions. Our focus is really the utility sectors, infrastructure, public sector, and telco sector. And as such, I will present you our solutions here. So I will show you just a very short overview. We have a booth here. We can show you also the details at our booth. I will show you regarding utilities, our web networks application. There's the Explorer to analyze the networks and the editor to edit the utility data in a web-based editor. Then we will go to VertiGIS Facility Management, FM, to look at the facility management part, especially for infrastructure and local authorities. And last, I will just give you a short view on our VertiGIS Studio, which is our framework to build all these applications. But who is VertiGIS? VertiGIS is global solution provider for vertical GIS applications. So we have 23 offices worldwide and something like 600 people staff who are serving more than 5,200 customers around the world. And as such, we are the largest platinum partner of Esri to provide vertical solution on the Esri platform. We are also actually an SAP business partner because we do a lot of integration work between different systems, and SAP is there a typical culprit where we do this system integration between GIS and ERP systems. Our offices are around the globe, but the biggest part of our staff are situated in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Myself, I'm situated in the Munich office. We also have a big office in Canada, in Victoria, for the development of our web framework. And as such, these are our core office sites. So this is our prime, also the view of our core product line. So you see the ArcGIS part is the basis for all of our solutions. The VertiGIS Studio is the web framework with which we build our solution. And it's also a framework for you to build your own web and mobile solutions by configuration only. So just by drag and drop, there's a visual designer to create this solution. VertiGIS FM, the facility management solution, is all around asset maintenance, inspections, and everything around facility management. And then we have our solutions for the different verticals, for the public sector, utilities, telco, infrastructure, and so forth. And we will look first at the network solution for utilities and telco. So here we have basically 5 main components. I will focus today mostly on the web editor, the network editor, to edit and author your assets, and also the Network Explorer. This is a viewing tool to analyze your data, to do network tracing, to show single line diagrams, schematic diagrams, to show 3D data. But we also have the network simulator. This is for the planning of the network, also web-based. The network locator, this is a click before you dig solution. So if you want to have external construction companies who need to know where are the underground lines, this is a network locator. And again, network maintenance, this is again our facility management solution to do asset maintenance. And this for all the different industries, so electricity, gas, water, district heating. Actually, we work a lot with multi-utilities, so we have a lot of experience and working with multi-utilities. And our VertiGIS integrator belongs to this because often for utilities, they need to integrate the GIS with ERP systems. And this is a VertiGIS integrator to do this link between CRM systems, ERP systems, and other systems which need to be integrated. As I said, it's web and mobile first. This is really our focus in all our developments because we believe that these web applications give the end users a much superior editing experience, and also it's much easier for them to work with this compared to the traditional fat client approach, right? That's why we focus on web and mobile. And the important thing is that we have this VertiGIS Studio component in our web-based application, which allows you to configure these. I always say each utility is a diamond. Everybody wants to have his own specific application, his own buttons, maybe his own workflow, which he needs to incorporate. And this you can create by our web-based designer, by drag and drop together. You can create these new functions and very easily incorporate these into your web-based application. So it's fully configurable, and we have also additional tools like access control so that you can control, for example, what type of features each editor can create or not create, or have editing rights or read-only rights. You can have access control, for example, also in certain areas only, that people can edit only in certain areas. So all these things can also be done by the access control. And of course, we are fully based on ArcGIS Enterprise in the utility network. But let me give you a short demo. So here we have the VertiGIS Explorer as the first thing. You can choose between different views, right? So very easily you can say, okay, I want to see view of water or a thematic map or so forth. Now, the first thing that I'd like to do is I would like to build my own query. So I use a certain feature layer and the attributes of this feature layer, and I'm looking for a certain station, right? And the system actually proposes me right away the right station. Then I have my result menu, and I have a lot of different options. Of course, this result menu, context menu is fully configurable. So I found my station. Now I'd like to do some tracing. I will first of all place my tracing flag on a certain feeder, right, there on this feeder, and then I have a number of traces which have been pre-configured in the ArcGIS Pro environment, and here, for example, a downstream trace to find all the service points. And here these service points are listed. Maybe I want to do now a different trace, same tracing flag, on the electrical circuit, so the feeder, and there I can now get all the details on this electrical circuit. For example, for the electricity line, here I'm going again to this context menu, and I can now, for example, change to a chart view, right? Again, same results, and if I hover over these diagrams, then it will select according to these properties, each of these elements, for example, the cables from 1960 or the cables from 1950. This way I can analyze very easily these data further. Now I'd like to go to a different way. I now can display the schematic diagram side by side. They're of course linked to each other. So if I select here this cable, then I see this cable also directly in the as-built view. So then you can see these two views just side by side in the same one for another cable. And last but not least, you can of course also go into 3D. So it's also actually possible to do these side by side. Then you can also link these two views and have these 3D view also side by side in the same web viewer. This is also used by a lot of customers. And you could also integrate here now, for example, a Google Street View, so that you always see what's going on outside there. This can be also done with a VertiGIS web viewer. So now we go to the editing part. So this is a network editor. The first thing which you will do in this lightweight web editor is to create your own version, right? You know that in Esri you have versioning. This is a branch versioning from ArcGIS Pro. I create here my version for this user conference, and now the first task I will do is I'll import some GPS data, right? This in this case is a text file, and I enter here the appropriate coordinate system, and then I import it. I give it still some coloring, these points, how they should be colored. So you see here there's a new service point to be created to this building. This is the existing as-built data. And now for the editing, you can use, of course, all the different objects which are available, or I can use the last used ones or the favorites. But really the added value of a web-based application is that I use the utility network rules. So I click on this line and the system proposes me those data which I can use, which I'm allowed to use. So this way, I'm sure that I always create the right objects because the web editor is guided by the utility network rules. And this is a huge advantage. So now if I created, for example, the connection sleeve, and the next thing which he proposes me is a low voltage cable. So I'm created now the low voltage cable. Once I finish this, it will propose again a point object, because after a line object, the next object should be a point object. So now he proposes me a point object and I'm creating a service point. So you see the end user is really guided according to the utility network rules through the editing process. Here there are some attributes which are required, which I need to edit, and this way I have done now my edits. Of course, there's a dirty area, you know this, and there you need to now resolve these conflicts. And for this, we have the validation tool. This is the same as in ArcGIS Pro, which you all know, so I can verify this. And since we are working according to the utility network rules, there was, of course, also no error. There are also other possibilities. I can create, for example, multiple cables. Here I have a spot where there are 2 low voltage cables and 1 streetlight cable, and I'd like to extend these cables and create further objects there. So I will turn my snapping on, and then I snap to the middle cable, and I will first create a sketch of the path for these new cables, and then along this path I will add all the required cables which I would like to create. So I filter first. I will want to have, first of all, the low voltage cables. So I'm creating a low voltage cable. Then I'm creating a lightning cable or street light cable. And then you see the added features. You can still change the order of these, right? Put them up or down. And I can duplicate certain cables. For example, I would like to have 2 low voltage cables, and I can duplicate it. And of course, I can also adapt the settings, say, what type of, distance, or to the left or to the right of the sketch, or in the center. And once I'm done, I will create it, and automatically I've created now these multi-line cables. Again, I need to do now the validation, and once the validation is done, I can go back to my versioning, and I can decide whether I go back to the default version, which I would like to post it, or so. This is depending on what you would like to do. So, who works with our utility solutions? We have roughly 300 clients, utilities, which are working with our utility solutions. In Germany, these are many multi-utilities, of course, which have like electricity, gas, water, district heating, many at the same times, but also many multinational electricity DSOs. And in the European and international context, we have really a lot of different utility clients, ranging from small water utilities to multi-million service point electricity DSOs. And I have listed here below some of our reference customers. You can check these out on our website. For example, there's Resida from France, very nice integrated system with a lot of integration with SCADA systems, CRM system, ERP systems. So a very interesting customer, but many other customers are also there. With this, I would like to move over to VertiGIS FM. So this is our facility management solution. Many start with managing of buildings or managing contracts, managing green spaces, but a leading task is always around maintenance and inspections. The products which are offered here in this VertiGIS FM product suite is around buildings, contract management, energy management, maintenance inspections, land parcel management, and green spaces and playground management. And yeah, we have more than roughly 900 clients, also a lot in the public sector domain, working with these products. Just a few on the system architecture. You have a centralized database. You have your application servers. This can be on-premise or as SaaS. And then you have a web-based browser client, a mobile client, an online-offline client to edit the data. And of course, you have some integration interfaces to integrate, for example, with billing systems or so. Let's look also at a quick demo. So here you have now the example of a wind park, right? So you have here different windmills, and you can click this windmill. This is right now still the VertiGIS Studio environment, but you saw this dashboard. But you can directly switch then over to the VertiGIS FM application. You have the complete integration of the GIS data. You can switch your data. You can also build here any type of GIS workflows in there. And then you have for each asset, first of all, some technical characteristics, the commercial characteristics, for example, the start of the warranty. And for each asset, you may have also a maintenance strategy. Here, these are time-based maintenance strategies. So these are maintenance which are recurring, for example, every 6 months. and the responsible engineer will get an email to do his maintenance. But you could have also condition-based maintenance. With IoT into devices, you can integrate meter readings, and based on these meter readings, you can then create your maintenance event or maintenance order. You may have tickets from the field, something is not right, and these will appear here, and these tickets always result then also in orders, or not, if the ticket is not so important. And the orders will also be created directly, of course, from a certain maintenance event, right? Now we are jumping to a different part. You can also manage, of course, the land parcels. And for the parcel management, it's very important always to manage also the contracts. And for the contracts, you may get renewed. When the contract needs to be renewed, you will get reminded. Or if there's a payment date, then you also will get there a reminder. Of course, the system is also available for field work. So you can do there and go out, for example, inspection. You can do also offline data. So here we will have just very quickly the example of an inspection at this wind turbine, the transformer. Before you start the inspection, you always have certain tasks which you need to do before so that it's safe to do the inspection. And then you can do the transformer inspection. Here's a very simple example of just yes, no, but you could, of course, add also some kind of text fields to edit there some data. Last but not least, of course, is available also for buildings, for building management, here with the BIM data, IFC data. Matt Piper in the plenary, he talked a lot about BIM and the digital twin. This is a tool really then also to do the asset maintenance and asset management on these objects. This is very important because you can then go into each room and there you have your devices, printers, radiators, whatever you have there. And there you also need to do, of course, your maintenance. And here's also the example of green spaces and playgrounds to do there the maintenance on these objects. Yeah, they have a lot of inspections, for example, tree cutting activities. This is also a very typical local authority task which needs to be done. So, who works with our facility management solutions? So mostly this is a lot in the public sector. I give you here some few examples: the city of Vienna, the city of Graz, universities. Also infrastructure. ASFINAG is the national operator of all the roads in Austria. Vienna Networks is the electricity provider of Vienna. Then in manufacturing, we have a lot of industry customers, but also in the real estate. Again, there's a link also to look at these customers. Maybe just two use cases. Here, this is a mining operator. They use VertiGIS FM for site management, for managing parcels, the parcel owners, keeping track of operating permits, and managing tasks. And here you get an impression how they use VertiGIS FM in their daily operations. Here maybe City of Graz, so they started with the management of the tree cadastre with VertiGIS FM, then they passed on to green space management, so the parks management. They also manage all the monuments. For example, if somebody sprays on the monuments, then you can go out, create a ticket, and create a work order to clean this up. Then the contracting tool, flagpole management, and also building maintenance, they're all doing this with VertiGIS FM in the city of Graz in Austria. Yeah, last but not least, the VertiGIS Studio is the application which really is a baseline for all of our vertical solutions. But you can use it, of course, also a part of it. This is a way to create quickly and efficiently really stunning web and mobile professional apps, no coding, just by drag and drop. So here are some examples. You can, of course, integrate different views, which we have seen already in the Network Explorer. You can create, of course, dashboards. You can create also what we call inline maps. So there you have a long linear referenced object, and you can see all the different data sets on these long linear elements, and you can display all these data sets along this line. This is what we call dynamic alignment sheets. This is our drag and drop report generator. There you can create your reports. And this is this workflow technology which I've mentioned several times. So you can create additional functions or workflows within your web and mobile interfaces by just drag and drop in here from more than 400 different activities. You can build if then else clauses. You can build interactive boxes. This is, for example, a report leak workflow, and this is what makes the VertiGIS Studio application so strong, that you can build very easily these workflow-oriented applications. So we always say, if you have a standard requirement, just use Esri field maps, that's fine. But if you want a more sophisticated solution with specific workflows, where you have specific requirements for your web or your mobile app, then it is the time for custom development, and there the VertiGIS Studio, by configuration only, will give you this really big added value. So, just how to show you how this works with the VertiGIS Studio. You have your web map in the ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. You can use different end-user web apps or even ArcGIS Pro to consume these items. And then you can create your specific printing templates, your workflows, your reporting templates, and store these in the ArcGIS portal as items. And with this, you create your apps for the viewers and editors. And with this access control, you can also make sure that only those people who need to use it will get this, right? And the VertiGIS Studio Analytics gives you a tool to look at the health of your servers. Yeah, and who works with VertiGIS Studios? Thousands of end users, really, nearly any type of organizations. In Europe, really the core countries of VertiGIS Studios are Germany, Austria, Switzerland, of course, Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands, UK, Italy, Portugal, and we have also a lot of different reference cases. Just look again at our website. With this, I'd like to finish. Just a takeaway, our focus is web and mobile first. This is so important because it gives you such this superior editing and using experience. All our applications are fully configurable, and our focus are these end-user processes for public sector, utilities, and infrastructure management. And here we are bringing more than 20 years of experience to the table. Yeah, and as such, let me finalize. I think it's time for lunch. If you have questions, we have a booth. Just drop by. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Florian. Thank you very much. This is a very complete solution you have there.
Thank you.
Questions from? Currently no questions in Slido, but just, oh yes, one remark. Are you active in Baltic? Have you any projects or some companies who are negotiating with you?
Yes, we have companies which are negotiating with us. We are also a business partner of HNet Baltic from Embryotech and AlphaGIS. So just contact your typical contact persons with HNet Baltic. I work a lot with Raivaras, so yeah, just contact us.
And it's like a related remark that us Baltic states are still like consuming countries from European Union funds, and so we are changing continuously and updating our infrastructure, houses, making them more energy efficient and so on. So there is a huge amount of possibilities.
Yeah, energy efficiency is a big topic, and we had a lot of webinars around this. Right now we are doing a big campaign, for example, in Austria, because the Austrian local authorities, they need to prove that they have energy efficient housing. So what we did with VertiGIS FM, we connected it to their smart metering portal, and we can automatically integrate all the smart meter data reading, and this way they can prove how the energy efficiency of the houses evolve over years. This is another European regulation which you need to comply to this. So there also VertiGIS FM is a perfect tool to show how energy efficient are your buildings or public sector buildings.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.